Hello, Facebook, YouTube. All right. Well, I'm finna do this video real quick. I did a video like this before, but you know, my videos get lost in YouTube, so tough to dig out. Got so many of them in there. But I might as well do another one since I can't dig out the video. Something similar to this topic, but the topic of the message is called the reality of what. See, here's the thing what y'all gotta understand. In Genesis 6, it talks about that God saw wickedness in this world, and God speaks of a sequence that happened that concerning the imagination of the thoughts of their hearts. You know what I'm saying? The imagination and the thoughts of their hearts. You know what I'm saying? Had them to they did evil continuously. That they did evil continuous because of these, what you got to understand, three vital things that you have to be careful of concerning in the world we live in, concerning that is meaning for you to see pretty much reality. That I'm all about helping people see Mac Johnson reality, helping people see the whole reality. It's the imagination and the thoughts concerning the heart. You got to understand those three things. That if these are in dark hands, whoa, as you can see concerning what God has to do concerning these people are evil continuously, that he has to flood the earth. He has to get rid of all of these, it's evil that is going on in the earth concerning of how evil have they become and continue to be if, you know, the earth was going to be destroyed. Now, understand that God created the earth and he said it was good in Genesis 1. He didn't say evil, he said good. So here's the thing that you must understand, that God created this earth to be good, but he put us, he created us to give us a genuine choice that I keep telling everybody, especially those atheists. Because the atheists like to say that, oh, God's a dictator. He tells people what to do and enslaves people and treat them bad or something like that. But God gave the people free will to make a genuine choice to choose whether they want to go do right or wrong. Whether, you know, he said, and I believe in Exodus 35, that I place before you blessings and curses, life or death, or something like that. And it's a choice matter. But anyway, the thing is, what I'm finna talk to you about is the topic of the message is the reality of caging, as in the cage, as in a prison, you know what I'm saying? Caging the imagination. And that's what I'm finna show you. That he put before us death and life. Now, that's what's important to realize. Now, everybody knows that, but that's what's important to realize that. People don't realize that. That's what Satan's taking advantage of, how much you don't realize that idea that, yeah, you know you got free will to make your choices, but, okay, why are you want to make the good choice, why you still want to do the bad choice? You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're trying to realize. Well, that, you know, and I'm going to show you concerning the imagination that God taught me about the imagination and how powerful it is concerning the sequence he presented to Moses, because God told this to Moses because Genesis is a part of the Torah, the first book, 5 books of the Torah. You know what I'm saying? God was talking to Moses, and he told Moses, you know, this ideal concerning the that the imagination, then the thoughts of his heart created a cycle it creates a cycle to make us think and continuously do evil. It's a cycle. That's why it goes continuously do evil. It goes imagination creates a thought. Let's say your imagination represents a imagination represents a factory. Yeah, it represents a factory. You know what I'm saying? Now watch this. What comes out of imagination? A thought. A thought comes, a product. You know what I'm saying? Whatever product. A product comes, and guess what? The product goes to the store, and the store, you know, represents your heart. You know what I'm saying? That's why you store things in your heart, you know. Yeah, and it goes to the store. And then all of a sudden what happens is the store gives back to the brain, that gets back to the imagination. And the thought comes back in and goes to the store, and the store ship it back to the, you know, brain, and that's what a cycle takes place. And what happens is, as much as what King Solomon tried to get us to understand, that's why he said, keep thine heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life, the issues that you are going through. Now watch this, there could be negative issues and there could be positive issues. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, because we do so much negative, we see the word issue as a negative word. Like, girl, you got issues, or man, you got issues. We automatically think issues are negative. Nope, issues are not negative. It's just the society that produce more negative. We look at issues as negative. No, issues, you can have a positive issue, you can have a negative issue. That's the truth. And the problem is what's going on concerning the things that you take in concerning this world system. What you don't realize, it's caging. It's talking, I heard this idea concerning, you know, about it's one thing to be in prison and be in a prison, but it's another thing you get out of the prison that, you know, you're still in prison, because the prison is prison your mind. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all heard that stuff like that, you know, that you know, people that go in prison, you know what I'm saying, get out of prison, but their mind's still in prison, you know, and that is true. Because the thing is, because now whatever things that took place and whatever way you was living in there, whatever, and the people that you were surrounded by did an influence inside of you that makes you have a spectrum that, you know, is not going to be helpful, pretty much, concerning going in a normal society. Because your mind is in a mindset of a prison. Like my brother, shout out my brother, that he said this about, you know, the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? You know, the children of Israel got out of Egypt, but Egypt was still in the children of Israel because, you know, they built the golden calf. You know, you took them out of Egypt, but Egypt was still in them as as that happened. They were out of Egypt, but yet they still built the golden calf. You know what I'm saying? And that's the ideal of every individual, that we got to understand that this cage, see what I'm saying? This cage this spiritual cage, that's what, you know, that's what makes this cage so powerful, because it's a spiritual cage. Something is unseen. Because as much as we operate in the natural, that Satan wants us to, you know, be about the natural, look at it from a natural perspective, as much as we don't pay attention to spiritual thoughts, see? And the thing is, people don't believe in certain things because they seeing things from a natural perspective more than a spiritual perspective. Like I tell people, when I learned the true love of God, that when, you know, Jesus says, love your enemies, bless those that curse you, pray for them that spitefully use you, that, you know, that kind of didn't make sense. You know, in my natural mind, that don't make sense. They hurt me, I need to hurt them, that kind of idea. But when you start understanding the purpose, that there's other enemies. There's enemies that are puppets to the true enemies. And you learn about the principalities and the powers and the rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places that are causing the flesh and blood to fight against each other. And that's what Jesus did in Matthew 24. He showed pretty much the disciples the blueprint of Satan, that Satan has to do. How you doing, doggy? Satan has to have kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation. You know, so he has to do this to screw up the world. You know, have to get people against each other. you know what I'm saying, get people against each other, you screw up the world, and everything gets screwed up, as in what's going on right now. So the thing is, you know, how you doing, sir? All right, bees. And the thing is, and that's the idea of what's going on, that what we don't realize in our imagination, in our thoughts, in our hearts, we're creating a prison within the substance that we receive and believe creates a prison. And the thing is, we're not aware of this spiritual prison. Now, the church, certain people in church know about this spiritual prison. You know what I'm saying? You hear certain people talk about the spiritual prison. You in prison within inside yourself. And guess what? When you're in that prison, or more likely that cage, it's going to cage your imagination. Now, when your imagination is in a cage, that means your imagination is created to expand. Imagination is for expansion. Like I tell people, we live in a universe. We don't live in the earth. And people are like, oh, I know that. You know, but they don't realize that. Because the thing is, if you're looking at this world from just a spectrum from the earth spectrum, you are not seeing the whole complete spectrum of how the earth is supposed to be about that you're living in. That you are missing a lot of things to see the true reality of what everything is all about. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of people don't see, because they're encaged in their imagination, because the world system has influenced their way of thinking. They won't expand beyond, you know, a lot of things that they will not believe, because, of course, they're caged. And I see people got that cage. I meet people that got that cage that think, oh, this ain't real, or this is not true, or something that's far-fetched to them, and understand this not real and this not true. You hear that cage. That's the language of cage. Because we live in a universe. We live in something that's unmeasurable. You know what I'm saying? We do not just live in this earth. This earth is not the only planet that exists. There's more things that going on than meets your eye. You know, you just need to transform your mind, really. But the thing is, but because you say those things, it's because I love the ideal of what, you know, Jesus said in Matthew 13, and talks about that unless you understand in your heart. Unless you understand in your heart means to question reality. Really understanding is all about questioning why. Why? Question why this, question why reality. And the only way you can find out the true result of what reality is supposed to do, it has to be questioned. Question. And when you question, it expands your search. You expand your search of finding reality. And the thing is, when you have the Holy Spirit and have God in your heart, Jesus Christ in your heart, the light will help you expand on how you're supposed to see things in reality, to see you can find the truth of all things, because we live in something that's way more far-fetched. But in the period of the state of this earth, it is, boring and dismal, you know what I'm saying? But this world is way more far-fetched than what you think it is, that those in spirit, the rulers of darkness, and don't want you to find out. But you're going to find out how far-fetched a world we live in, and very soon, because the divine plan of God and the plot of Satan is going to be unfold to help you see how far-fetched a world we live in. But you're going to be shocked at what you're going to see. But the reason why you're going to be shocked is because you've been caged in your imagination concerning this world system. And that's the reason why you're going to be shocked at what you're going to see in this world that has always been there, but you've been ignoring it because you've been caged up in your imagination and deceived by Satan. But that's the message. I hope you understand the cage of your imagination. I hope you get out of the cage, get Jesus Christ in your heart. He'll help you question to see the true reality of a great and far-fetched universe that God has created. That's the message. To God be the glory here forever and ever in Jesus' name. Amen.